There's a certain kind of person who is already awake before the world gives them permission to be. No one is watching. No one is clapping. There's no post, no photo, nobody to impress at that hour. The street is black, the house is silent, and they are lacing shoes in the dark, like a man reporting to a job that doesn't pay. Everyone assumes they know why. Discipline, willpower, some rare gene the rest of us didn't get. And on the outside, they let people believe it. They shrug. They say they're just a morning person. But that is not it at all. Psychology is starting to discover something stranger. The 5 a.m. person is not fighting a war against their bed every morning. They are not stronger than you. They are running a different operating system, one where the first hour of the day is not a workout at all. It is a payment, and what they're buying is not muscle. Today, we're going to take apart the mind of the person who trains at 5 a.m. through 8 truths backed by science.
Whether you have tried and failed this 100 times, or you're trying to understand the quiet person in your life who does it without complaining, this video will show you the machine underneath. Welcome back. I'm Apex. Let's dive a little deeper. Truth 1. The fantasy is the enemy. Before we talk about them, let's talk about you. Because you've already imagined it. You lie in bed at 12:40 at night, phone glowing on your chest, and you watch a man in a black hoodie step out into blue winter air, steam coming off his shoulders, empty gym, cold water, black coffee in a heavy mug. There's music under it, and it feels like the trailer for the man you're about to become. You set the alarm for 5. You feel a warmth in your chest as you do it. That warmth is the trap. In neuroscience, it's called goal substitution. When you vividly imagine a future self, your brain releases dopamine on the image, not the act. You've already collected the reward.
The urgency drains out of the room. At 5:02, there is no music, no steam, no trailer. There's a dark ceiling, a cold floor, and a body that feels like wet sand. Most people who quit didn't fail at waking up. They failed at midnight, on a couch, feeling wonderful. Truth 2. The purchase, not the punishment. Here's what the outside world will never understand about that alarm. Most people believe the 5 a.m. person wakes early to do more, to squeeze extra hours out of the day like a productivity vampire. That's wrong, and it's why every copycat quits by day 9. They don't wake at 5 to add an hour. They wake at 5 to buy a room nobody can reach them in. Think about what your day actually is. From the second your eyes open, you're being spent. The message from your boss at 9:14, the call from your mother, the colleague at your desk, the thing your partner needs. Your day is not yours. It's a common area, and anyone with your number can walk in. At 5 a.m., nobody has your number. That is the only hour of the day that cannot be taken. Not because it's productive, but because it's unclaimed. And once someone has tasted an hour that belongs to them completely, sleeping through it starts to feel like giving something away. They aren't disciplined. They're territorial. Truth 3. The bank of decisions. Psychologist Roy Baumeister found something that explains why your evening workouts died. Every decision you make draws from the same account. What to reply, what to eat, whether to argue, whether to let it go. By 7 p.m., you've made thousands of small withdrawals, and the account is empty. The gym bag is in the car, the gym is 9 minutes away, and you drive past it, and you don't even feel guilty because you don't feel anything. The 5 a.m. person didn't defeat that mechanism. They dodged it. At 5 a.m., you've made exactly one decision, and you made it last night. There's nothing to negotiate against, no bad meeting to recover from, no friend texting about drinks, no sentence in your head that starts with, "you deserve." You get up, and the day hasn't had a chance to argue with you yet. Truth 4. Cortisol, the honest chemical. Roughly 30 to 45 minutes after your eyes open, your body does something it does at no other point in the day. Cortisol spikes. Researchers call it the cortisol awakening response, mapped in the late 1990s by Clemens Kirschbaum and Jens Prissner. We've been taught cortisol is the villain, the stress hormone, the thing that makes you sick. But cortisol isn't stress. Cortisol is mobilization. It's the chemical that says, get up, the world has demands, meet them. And here's the cruelty of a modern morning. That spike arrives on schedule whether you use it or not. If you wake and immediately lie there scrolling, you are pouring the most activated chemistry your body produces into a phone screen.
Premium fuel, straight onto the pavement. The 5 a.m. person isn't fighting biology. They're catching a wave that was going to break anyway. Which is why they'll tell you the hardest part isn't the workout. It's the 7 seconds between the alarm and the floor. After the floor, the body takes over. You are never lazy. You are just always losing at second 4. Truth 5. The proof of life. Ask one of them why, and they'll mumble something about energy or focus. They're lying, but not on purpose. They just don't have the words. So, let me give them to you.
By the time most people reach 30, they've quietly lost a sensation of authorship. You didn't choose the commute. You didn't choose the meeting. You didn't choose the mortgage. Not really, not on a Tuesday. Life feels like something happening in your general direction. Then you stand in a dark room at 5:04 with your feet on cold tile, and your body says no, and you do it anyway. And a very old, very quiet part of your brain writes it down. I did something today that nothing in the universe forced me to do. Psychologists call this self-efficacy, from Albert Bandura's work, but that clinical term hides what it feels like. It feels like proof that you still exist as something separate from the current carrying you. That's what they're buying. Not fat loss, not a body. Evidence. They're not addicted to the gym. They're addicted to authoring one paragraph of their life before the day writes the rest of it. Truth 6. The cost nobody films. Now the part the trailer left out. That alarm isn't free, and it isn't paid at 5 a.m. It's paid at 9:30 the night before, when your friends order the second round and you stand up to leave, and someone says, "Stay, one more," and everyone's eyes are on you, and you have to choose between the man you want to be at dawn and the man everybody likes right now. You'll make that trade, and you'll make it again.
You'll be the one who leaves the party, who can't make the late film, who is quietly unavailable in a world that lives at night. Nobody will call it discipline. They'll call it boring. Your partner will say you're always tired, with an edge in it, because in a way, they're right. Every 5 a.m. is a 9 p.m. funeral for something small. And here's the trap most of them fall into. The alarm becomes evidence of virtue. The training becomes a scoreboard against people who are asleep. A man who wakes at 5 to feel superior to his friends hasn't built discipline. He's built a very expensive way to be lonely. The alarm is a tool. The moment it becomes an identity that needs feeding, it starts feeding on you. Truth 7. The floor drops. So you might be thinking, fine, it's a punishment with better branding. We should all just sleep. No, because there's one more layer, and it's the one that matters. Around week 3, something changes, and every one of them describes it identically. The alarm stops being loud. Not the sound, the decision. It stops being a fight. Wendy Wood's research at USC found that close to 43% of what a human being does in a day isn't chosen at all. It's habit, running at almost no conscious cost. That's the real prize, not the discipline, the end of needing discipline. Because willpower is fuel, and fuel runs out. A habit is a road, and a road doesn't need you to be strong. It only needs you to be on it. The person you envy at 5:12 isn't exerting more effort than you. 3 years ago, they were. Today, they're spending less on it than you spend deciding lunch. You're watching the end of a war and calling it a personality. Truth 8. The river and the dam. There are 2 ways a human being can live. Most people are rivers. A river doesn't decide anything. It goes where the ground is lowest. It moves fast, covers distance, looks alive, and is completely, perfectly obedient to the shape of the land underneath it. Your day is the land. The notifications, the moods of other people, the meeting that moved, the thing your brother said. A river isn't weak. It's just being written. And some people build a dam. A dam is a stupid, ugly, expensive thing. Heavy, unnatural. It takes years, and it can crack. But it does one thing no river can ever do. It decides where the water goes. The 5 a.m. alarm isn't exercise. It's the first stone of a dam. It's a person standing in the dark saying, not everything about today gets to be decided by today. Which is why it was never really about fitness. Nobody wakes at 5 for a body. They wake at 5 because somewhere along the way they understood that a life with no stone in it will simply flow toward whatever is lowest, forever. And it will feel like nothing was ever your fault, and it will feel like nothing was ever yours. So what do you actually do with this? First, kill the fantasy. Don't visualize the montage. The montage is where your motivation goes to be spent. Set the alarm and go to sleep bored. Second, buy the hour before you spend it. You don't wake at 5. You wake at 9:30 the night before, when you close the laptop.
Everyone tries to win the morning. The morning was decided in the dark. Third, protect the first 7 seconds and nothing else. Don't commit to the workout. Commit to putting your feet on the floor. Feet on the floor is the whole war. Everything after it is just weather. Around 15 to 20% of people are true morning chronotypes. The rest built it. They weren't born at dawn. They chose it, badly and repeatedly, until it stopped being a choice. You are not lazy. You have simply been letting a day that doesn't care about you decide who you are inside it. So here's what I want to know. Have you ever set the 5 a.m. alarm, felt that beautiful warmth as you set it, then turned it off in the dark and lied to yourself about why? What was the excuse? Put it in the comments. Say it out loud, because an excuse loses most of its power the second it has to be written down. Apex will read it, and I'll be right there with you. Subscribe so we can keep decoding the machinery in your head together. Thank you for staying with me all the way to this moment. I'm Apex. Nobody rises at 5 a.m. for a stronger body. They rise because at some point they'd rather be tired than be a river.